Well, how about a top 10 matchup coming to you from the Pacific Northwest? We are here in Seattle, Washington, inside Climate Pledge Arena for a game that should be a whole lot of fun. The Connecticut Huskies have come here to town, and the Gonzaga Bulldogs have come from Spokane down to Seattle. 18,000 people are here. These are two great teams. And
for last year, but both top 10 and both excellent.
Jeffrey Anderson, Kip Kissinger, Greg Nixon are the officials. And it's the Huskies wearing the dark blue who get the first possession of the game. Here is Newton.
Gonzaga starting out in man-to-man. They're a team that will play some zone. They will switch some of these actions. Just got to switch with Anton Watson jumping out on Cam Spencer.
Shot clock down to 7. Newton looking for an opening. Can't get into the paint and overthrows Caravan. A turnover by Connecticut on the first possession. Harden, Hickman in the backcourt, Stromer on the wing. Anton Watson, the fifth-year senior, and then Graham Ike, basically a 20-10 guy a couple of years ago with the Wyoming Cowboys, and he's got his hands full with all the size that UConn has tonight. Newton to a cutting Spencer, off to Klingon. Got his miss and lays it in.
Looked like Klingon took one in the face. Can shoot it. He's one of the best cutters you're going to see. And he plays a huge role for this UConn team and being a top 5 performing team.
Ryan Nembhard with a miss. You can hear the oohing and eyeing of the Gonzaga fans. Klingon lays it in. And after a turnover on the first possession, back-to-back buckets for the big guy.
Well, Tristan Newton averages over 6 assists per game, and he plays with such great pace. He can get going quickly, but at the same time, he can change pace, and he really changed pace on that last play to dump it off to Klingon underneath.
Gonzaga's 2 losses, one to Purdue in Honolulu, and then a week ago here in Seattle against the University of Washington. The only loss for UConn on the road at Allen Fieldhouse by 4 as Nembhard lays it in, the first bucket of the night for the Zags.
A little bit of a broken play after that ball went out near half court, but Ryan Nembhard, you cannot let him get to that right hand. He's good with his left. When he gets downhill, he is deadly with that right hand.
And of course, UConn, they're pretty familiar with him, right? Last 2 years with Creighton in the Big East, so he's already played 4 games in his career against Connecticut, including 3 games, I should say, against Connecticut over the last couple of years. 3 there for Newton to make it 7-2 UConn.
And when you go under a screen against UConn and against Tristan Newton, he is pulling the trigger on that, and he is hitting a good percentage of those shots.
Tries to drive now on Watson, a good defender. Spencer, and deep position for Klingon, and he's got his 3rd field goal of the night.
Donovan Klingon is getting healthy now. He started the season with a foot problem. That took him out of competition to start the year. And then he's had a toe issue that he's been dealing with, but he's starting to get over it. When he gets healthy, he's going to get better and better. He is a really good center.
Cam Spencer is healthier than he was a couple of weeks ago as Nembhard knocks down another. And we'll talk more later about Stefan Castle, who missed 6 games after a minor knee procedure. He is not yet 100%, but he's ramping up quickly.
Well, Castle changes this UConn team because he's very athletic at the wing, and he's a really good defender. And it gives him a versatile defender out on the perimeter, a guy who can really get downhill north-south.
Boy, they don't have an answer for Klingon.
You can't let it, it's easy to say, you can't let him get 2 feet in the paint. You know, Graham Ike was stuck on his back, couldn't push him out. And Klingon can just turn around and shoot over. I mean, he's 7'2" and long.
Nembhard, his 3rd field goal. He's got all 6. Really a totally redone arena. They raised the roof, but it bears no resemblance to the old arena. And a lot of talk that if and when the NBA goes from 30 to 32, that Seattle's getting a team back.
It is a beautiful arena. Great rebound by Dusty Stromer. Nobody put a body on him. The freshman, who has been starting and playing extended minutes because Steele Venters, the transfer from Eastern Washington, was injured and out for the year. And he's a good cut by Castle. Boy, wide open under the basket.
And a great feed from Spencer. There is Castle, the freshman, his 3rd game back since the knee procedure. Played 10 minutes in the first, 17 in the second. He's not 100% yet, but he's getting there. Nembhard does not get the bounce, but he gets the loose ball. Watson into the paint, and remarkable. Within a few weeks, he'll have 700 wins.
He's really let it go to his head, though, hasn't he?
Yeah. Boy, is he tough to talk to. Tough to deal with. He is into the game for Graham. Ike and Huff, a much different kind of big guy. He'll step out. I mean, Ike can shoot, but Huff will step out all the time and shoot threes.
Yeah, he's a stretch 5, left-handed. But, yeah, he can really shoot it.
This is a good matchup. Watson and Caravan, and round 1 goes to Watson as Caravan gets called.
Gonzaga feels they can go to.
How about the game that Watson
on 5-steal effort against Washington at Heck.
The ball screen for Hickman. Good show by Johnson.
Good hard hedge.
And now Johnson keeps Watson from getting to the bucket. So Watson will launch an 18-footer, and you know it's a 3. It was deeper than I thought. It is a 3 for Anton Watson.
Johnson just didn't recover out fast enough. And that's a difference in Anton Watson. Much more aggressive offensively this season.
He is now 8 for 19 from three-point range on the season. Samson Johnson, almost every field goal he's got this year is a dunk.
Well, that action run out of the middle of the floor. When you curl that screen with the ball, you're going right downhill to the basket. Anytime that there's help, you help up. You just throw it up to the basket, and Samson Johnson can go get it.
Hickman, boy, was that pretty. Kind of deked him with his eyes and then got to the rim.
Great hesitation. And one of the things Mark Few, this is a really good offensive team, but they've had some interesting droughts in a couple of their losses, even a couple of their wins, where they go like 5 minutes without scoring, and they were inefficient down the stretch, unusual against Washington. They had an 11-point lead in that game, wound up losing it.
Yeah, scored only 1 field goal over a 7-minute stretch late in the game. Shot clock's at 3. The force by Diarra, and he banks it in. That category, Dan Hurley. You saw the number of stones in there, and it corresponds to the margin of victories and
this group, because Stephon Castle is still working his way than even we've seen thus far.
I agree with you 100%. I don't know about you. We walked out of Allen Fieldhouse. They lost at Kansas by only 4 without Castle. And remember, Cam Spencer was hobbled that entire game and had by far his worst game of the season. I mean, he is a terrific player, but had kind of turf toe issues on both feet in that game against Kansas.
That was an incredibly physical game.
Diarra.
Just too easy getting to the basket. After the first action that Gonzaga has guarded pretty well, we're seeing UConn getting to the basket and scoring in the paint with too much ease. Gonzaga's going to have to tighten up.
8 of their 10 field goals in the paint. That's for UConn. Gonzaga with the ball down by 4. Nembhard cut off by Caravan, but a good cut, and laying it in is Ben Gregg.
Ben Gregg is such an important player for this Gonzaga team, because he puts his body on the line. He just flies around out there and raises the emotional level of the team. And he can shoot it too. He's a kind of a stretch power forward that can knock down a 3.
And like all the bigs for Gonzaga, giving up some size to the matchup with Klingon, who is fouled by Gregg. Houston, Kelvin Sampson has another great team.
Lose Marcus Sasser, and I mean, they're just as good as they were last year. And they were really good last year.
Prior averaging almost 18 points per game. And Spencer got Hickman to leave his feet.
I know.
And draws the foul at the free throw line.
I think his argument. What a pickup Cam Spencer was for you.
Leads the jump hook short, and Gonzaga looking to push.
Nice job being physical by Ben Gregg in the low post.
Watson scoops it up, follows it, and gets it to go.
Such quick feet.
The double figures now with 10. Klingon. Good defense by Gregg, but a foul is called. Ben Gregg's second. Against the Seahawks is coming Monday night. Klingon misses the percent free throw shooter on the season.
Well, that'll improve. 2 very different players. Johnson, I mean, all but like 4 or 5 of his buckets this year dunks. I mean, he plays above the rim.
Nembhard into Ike, defended by Johnson. Ike with the turnaround and draws the foul. He's got a.
Want to make him go over the left. And there's not a ton of depth in the backcourt for Gonzaga. So Nolan Hickman, Ryan Nembhard, even Dusty Stromer, these guys, I mean, against Washington, they all played 40 minutes.
Yep.
Didn't come out at all. Little flex action, screen for the screener, and Spencer wide open.
And he'll bury it. He is one of the best shooters in college basketball, better than 40% in his collegiate career from beyond the arc.
Well, he was looking to get a screen that would take him to the ball. Instead, he cut to the basket and just set a flex cut along the baseline. Then he got a screen, and he was wide open for that shot.
How good was he in the Jimmy V against Carolina? 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists as the Zags answer to the other end with Watson again.
What a beautiful play and a great shot by Anton Watson. Well, he is such a good player and plays on both ends of the floor. One of the best defenders in the country.
The fifth-year senior went through the draft process, checked it out, came back. Spokane native as well. Spencer again. Can't leave him open.
Well, that was just great ball movement. I mean, Caravan on the baseline drift. He could have taken that three, but just the quick pass to Spencer got a better shot for a teammate. This is an unselfish group for UConn.
How about this defense from Castle, keeping Nembhard in front of him? Not the easiest thing to do.
UConn runs beautiful offense. Many practices run as well or better than UConn.
Bulls of the toughness, but you also need to find some guys who can score. And he's got a great combination of toughness and skill on this team.
Terrific job by Nolan Hickman to get that deflection. Ben Gregg wound up coming up with the ball. But those deflections are big plays.
Nembhard no, tip no, and Klingon lost it. Stromer knocks it down.
But Ben Gregg and Dusty Stromer both sticking their noses in there, and Ben Gregg took a shot in his. But Gonzaga came up with a rebound.
Newton with a deep three, and it's again an 8-point lead for the Huskies.
What a great year, offensive foul.
Newton to Klingon. Gregg comes over to help, but Klingon finds Castle. Newton blocked by Ike, and it's 5-on-4 the other way. Nembhard off balance, gets it to go.
Oh, what a shot by Ryan Nembhard. He thought he was fouled, and Stephon Castle thought he was fouled on the other end.
First fast break points of the game for the Zags. Nembhard is a tough shot maker. And it's getting noisy here in Seattle.
Well, Gonzaga really fighting back right now. They've ratcheted things up.
Spencer will quiet the crowd.
Well, you run him off the three-point line. He's got that mid-range game, little floater.
Nembhard, and one.
Well, even when you force Ryan Nembhard
for 6 from 3. Gonzaga's only attempted 1 3. They made it. That was Watson. But very unusual for a team in this day and age to play 17 minutes and only take 1 3. And UConn 5 for 6. Make it 6 for 7. And almost over the back. Huff the rebound, and again Gonzaga running. Hickman has it knocked away. Castle. Euro steps around Nembhard and lays it in to make it a 10-point game. Coached early in the 90s and also was the coach for 3 different teams in the NBA, including a year here in Seattle, what turned out to be the Sonics last year before the move. As Solomon Ball knocks down the 3.
Plus, he sees it every day in practice. I mean, when you watch Solomon Ball shoot the ball in practice, he doesn't miss. But in games, I think he gets going a little bit too fast. And he'll figure that out. He's a first-year player.
Nembhard, boy, he has made some tough driving layups tonight to keep Gonzaga within striking distance.
Ryan Nembhard, as his shot selection improves, he's still learning his way around the Gonzaga offense. But he's so good at Creighton, and he'll be equally as good.
Castle got it off in time, but left it short. The first half will come to a close after a rare miss.
Back into this.
Gonzaga with the first possession of the second half. Away we go.
You can see that UConn is going underneath. Great play on the back door. But UConn's going underneath screens on Ryan Nembhard with Nolan Hickman, because he's such a good three-point shooter, is their leading three-point shooter. They're going over every screen. They really shut Hickman down in the first half. He only had one bucket.
Nembhard with the last 9, and now for Gonzaga. He had their first 6, and now he's got their last 9. 15 on the night, and they're down by 9. Newton into the paint, lost his balance, and it will go.
Just able to.
It's Caravan down with the rebound for the Huskies.
Now Watson is a better athlete, but Caravan did a terrific job there guarding that action. And he's such a good cutter. Now he's got Nolan Hickman on him. He's trying to post him up.
And how about Connecticut scoring 45 points in the first half, Jay, with Caravan only attempting one shot. It was a 3, he hit it. Now they've got a chance for this year, and the production has really gone up. The scoring, the rebound. And pushed out to the three-point line, finds Spencer. They can run some stuff through Klingon as well, as you can see. Caravan gives it right back to the big fella who got fouled at the rim.
This beautiful two-man action on the.
A lot of willing passes.
Do this, you know, if they know they're not going to get it or think they're not going to get it, they don't cut as hard, and it's not as effective. Stand on the defensive end. You're not going to get back into this without making consecutive stops, not just getting stops, but they have to be consecutive stops followed up by scores. Good pass.
EK's been a non-factor offensively tonight, but he gets the turnaround to go, and maybe that'll get him and them going his first points of the night.
Beautiful little pocket pass, and we were talking at the timeout, and I thought maybe Gonzaga might go a little zone to give a different look, and here it is, a 2-3 zone. And I think you're going to see some Xing and flashing into the middle. That's where UConn wants to get it.
Caravan, a good guy to play out of the middle, finds ball. 7 to shoot, now Spencer.
Went man.
The turnaround, a soft touch by Cam Spencer.
Zone again. But keep an eye on late clock to see if they go man.
Caravan again at the free throw line, and nobody.
They're going to go man after a miss.
Stripped. Nembhard. Seeking out the contact. Ike follows it and is fouled.
And that's what Gonzaga needs to do. Get a stop and take it the other way.
We didn't know exactly. Well, I mean, we knew what we were getting. But until.
That's something we didn't see as much of in the first half. Gonzaga was not as disruptive defensively, and they have been in the last few minutes.
But can they turn the turnovers into points at the other end? Huff with his offhand draws the foul. The Zags this year. Houston at 2:30 Eastern time.
Gonzaga not going with that 1-2-2 3/4 court pressure. It's just going to be Ryan Nembhard trying to slow the advance.
Sanson off to Newton, still 12 to shoot. Newton with a strong drive, and a foul is called. And all of the Zags are saying the arms were straight up in the air, vertical contest and all that, but it is a foul call. And a triple-double.
Half steals, and he's leading this team in scoring, rebounding, assists, steals, and free throw attempts. That's pretty good, especially for a team this good.
Hickman the drive, and it'll go. 57-44, 13 minutes to go.
Connecticut in this game, plus 18 points from the three-point line. Gonzaga's only got 1 3 in this game. Tough to win that way when you just got to make tough twos all game long.
And the amazing thing is Connecticut, and you've said it a couple of times, they can beat you in so many different ways. What do they do better than just about anything else? Offensive rebound. Not tonight. They've only got 1 offensive rebound in the game. Now they haven't missed all that many shots, 14, but they've only got 1, but they're finding so many other ways to win.
Well, there's the second. but you're right, like you're saying in fairness, but they're shooting over 60% from the field. There are not a lot of offensive rebounds to grab, but you have to credit Gonzaga on their end. They've been hitting the offensive glass pretty hard.
Stromer from the foul line, 61-46. On the arc on the season. Nembhard's got to kick it back out.
He drives and drives right into Alex Caravan. His big body.
Hickman inside with a tough runner.
A long rebound started to break.
Greg. And a foul called against UConn. It is not the deepest team. At 31 minutes, I don't think any of the three has come out once tonight. Nembhard for three. Hustles after it, but loses it. Gets it again. And it'll be a held ball, but the possession arrow will give it to UConn. With the Gonzaga Greg, so it stays with UConn. And Diarra with a strong drive and going to the free throw line. Boy, has he had himself a couple of minutes here off the bench. This UConn team is good, getting better, deep and getting deeper. They lead coming off the bench. That's a very talented 8 freshman player.
Jaden Ross. They've only hit 1 3 on the game.
That was Watson, and it was early. Gets the shot off. It won't go, but he'll shoot a couple.
So good pivoting inside against Sampson defensively. Really good passer. Ridiculous. It's not like Gonzaga hadn't had some good players outside of John Stockton.
It's down to 11. They've still got a lot of work to do, but they have crept a little bit closer.
And they've certainly ratcheted up their defensive effort in this second half, making catches more difficult, and you see UConn having to turn its back a lot. Great cut by Alex Carab. He cuts to the basket. He makes a lot of great weak side cuts, and that makes it really difficult to guard. A stationary player is easy to guard.
Misses the three. Klingon with a loose ball. Carabin with a size advantage on Nembhard and lays it in. Timeout Gonzaga. And last year, and as you said, it's a lot different, but they might be just as good this year.
Well, certainly different. I mean, to lose Jordan Hawkins, you're not going to be as good of a shooting team. I mean, he was a weapon like few others. What a block.
Speaking of weapons, Donovan Klingon, the eraser at the defensive end. Getting big minutes, but coming off the bench, but for the injury he suffered.
The Big Sky Player of the Year at Eastern Washington. He's got size. He can really shoot it and hit contested shots.
By the way, they're also Ventures looking on. They're also playing without Luka Krajinovic tonight, who suffered a hand injury at practice today and is unable to go as Klingon comes down with 2 more.
Just a wedge offensive rebound. He just wedged Ben Gregg under the basket to get that offensive board.
19 and 7 so far tonight for Donovan Klingon, a sophomore from Bristol, Connecticut.
This is the best he's played in a big game. You know, he's put up numbers against some of the lesser teams that UConn has played, but didn't get a fast push down the floor. Gonzaga's transition game has not been what I expected. But give credit to UConn for stopping the ball and getting back.
Hickman misses the floater, but a foul call, and he'll be at the free throw line. The Zags lost some great players. We talked about UConn, but obviously
points, career points from those guys. Nolan Hickman's a Seattle kid. So this is such a great high school basketball area.
Yes. Well, the Zag fans have renewed hope right now. Down to 10, under 4 minutes to go. Can they get another stop?
UConn really spreading the floor. Gonzaga trying to put pressure.
Up top, and the flush for Klingon.
Just that pinch post area, getting action around the elbow. And when Donovan Klingon rolls, who's there to pick him up because it's run more toward the middle of the floor?
Now a takeaway. Klingon, a great look ahead to Diarra. And all of a sudden, it's back to 14. And Greg down with a rebound, but just 2.5 to play.
Diarra's done a nice job defensively.
Great drive and finish by Watson, and he's going to the line as well. That helps. Whatever it is, he's in some pain, but he is staying in the game.
Gonzaga coming with full court pressure.
Got a foul.
he's been preaching to his team is
pretty impressive performance.
Especially by Klinger. In this kind of game, for him to come out, he got what, 21 and 8.
Boy, how many good things has Diarra done tonight, and another good cut. And there are some of them here in the Pacific Northwest, and they have enjoyed this. Another impressive performance by what is unquestionably one of the best teams in the country. Watson with a lane and a finish.
It's an impressive performance by UConn. Gonzaga took a swing at him in the second half, just couldn't get anything going on the offensive end.
Into league play Wednesday at Seton Hall. They'll play St. John's before Christmas as well, then have a 9-day break before they start going again in the new year. They have put everybody in the Big East and everybody in the country on notice with the kind of start they've had to their season. They led wire to wire tonight, Jay. Never did the Zags have the lead in this game.
This team was ready, not just ready to play, they were ready for a fight. They were here for a couple days, practiced really hard at Seattle U.
Stromer open for three. And it's Connecticut ball with a shot clock turned off, and that is going to do it. The Huskies come cross country here to Seattle and lead from start to finish. Donovan Clingan with 21 and 8. Cam Spencer 15. Connecticut shoots 56% on the night, and they have won their 27th in their last 28 non-conference games, all by double digits. The only blemish was the loss at Kansas a few weeks ago.